Hey friends, this is Andrew again here, aka Fellowship of the Tables, continuing my series on the world of Ectelion, which I am building for Lore 24. So progress continues this week. I have been building out new places throughout the nation of Kubnon, which is the nation that I decided to start with. I've been creating two places each day. The goal again for Lore 24 is to add at least one uh, person, place, or thing to your world each day of 2024. So I've certainly been exceeding that. Um, I have just been very lightly creating these creatures or places or items with the intent of potentially going back and fleshing them out as needed. But I think that there's lots of cool ideas here. There's a disruption in the planet's magnetic field. There's a town that is beautiful and picturesque and idyllic, but is actually fomenting rebellion against the rulers of the nation. There's a magic shop that teleports, or rather, it's not so much teleportation as it has entrances in different places and reconfigures itself. So a lot of fun stuff here. I've been also working on placing them on my actual map. So here is Kubnon. This whole end of the continent is Kubnon. Um, and you can see that I'm starting to label some things. So here's a jungle, here's a swamp, a valley. There's a river here that wasn't there a week ago. Some towns that I can't even read the label at this scale, but there is one. Uh, yeah, things are starting to pop up around Kubnon, which is really exciting. So I thought what I would do today is actually do some live draws. I've been talking about how I use um, the Deck of Worlds and Story Engine deck and the Lore Masters deck. These are the products of a company called Story Engine Deck, and um, these are cards that help with world building, and you'll see that in a moment. And I've even shown some already drawn stacks from things that I've created, but I thought it would be fun to actually draw some live. I have no idea what's about to happen, um, but let's find out. So I'm going to switch over to my table here, and what I've been using. So I've been primarily using the Lore Masters deck, and I've been starting with the location prompts. So let me zoom in on this. Here is the card that we're going to start with. Uh, and I can choose any of these. I can choose a dune or dunes. I can choose to build a hideout, a university, or a mine. Um, let's see. Let's do a mine. That seems like an important resource. So what I'll do here, now that I've chosen this as my primary queue in Lore Master's deck terms, what I'll do is I will uh, draw more of the same type of cards. So this is also a location card, but on the back it has what are called secondary cues. And the idea is to try to put a secondary cue on each side of this primary cue to tell us a little bit more about it. So for this secondary cue card, let's have a look at what this is. So I can decide that this mine is prone to landslides, avalanches, or seismic activity. That seems really dangerous for a mine. It's decorated, adorned, or stocked with an object. Notice here there's a little symbol of an anchor that denotes that if you choose this, then it's prompting you to draw another card to find out more about what this object is. We'll come back to that if we decide to do it. Habitat of a flying creature. A mine that is the habitat of a flying creature. Huh. Mine that was rebuilt multiple times. Well, that would certainly need to be the case if it was prone to landslides, avalanches, or seismic activity. Um, yeah, I'm curious about this decorated, adorned, or stocked with an object. Let's do this. So what we do is we stack it like so. I'll zoom back out a little bit. So the primary cue that we've selected is going to always be at the bottom of the primary card, and then we surround it with cues on all four sides. In this case, as mentioned, this object here is begging to be filled out. So I'm going to draw from another deck in this Lore Masters deck and see what type of object is adorning this mine in abundance. So we can do a crest. That would suggest to me that it's like very family driven. This family has a crest. That seems plausible. A bicycle, a mine adorned with bicycles, darts, or whistles. Yeah, I like the idea of a crest. So we'll put that there. And uh, we can later fill this out more, but for now, I'm just going to leave this as it is and continue on to learn more about our mine. So I'm going to draw another secondary prompt for our location. We can say that it was burned out during an event. And again, notice the symbol there. That suggests that we would be drawing more cards to learn about that. We can say that it's full of an extinct creature's remains. Ooh, kind of like that. Was created or destroyed using an object or sits on a threshold between worlds. I actually kind of like that too. Let's go with this one. Full of an extinct creature's remains. Maybe that's even what they're mining. That's a cool concept. Normally, when you think of a mine, you think of obviously like some type of ore or um, natural mineral or something like that. But what if they're mining the remains of this dead creature? Um, it's an interesting idea. So again, just as we did here, we will draw just the primary card of this creature here to see what type of creature is being mined. Uh, Deer, badger, an algae, or a triceratops. Underground. I think a badger makes the most sense to me. That these are some kind of underground badgers. We have a mine that's decorated with some particular crest and is full of the remains of an extinct badger. Okay, let's see what else we have about this place. Um, Say that it's named after a creature. Now here, again, we have the symbol for a creature. If I was to select this, and I don't know if I'm going to, but what I would probably do is just say this creature is the same one that's here, that is full of the remains of it. I could also choose to name it after a different creature, but I think that makes a lot of sense to me. Sorry for the poor cut here. I'm very bad at cutting straight lines, but this says shielded or hidden by engineering or enchantment, highly accessible, shunned or forbidden by a culture or faction. I mean, I think it makes sense that this is named after the creature, the dead creature that it's full of. Um, Even like Badger Mine seems cool. Um, let's draw one more card here for secondary prompts. It provides power to a faction, has art or statuary celebrating a profession or something else that's also cut off. Um, that might actually be a typo in the deck. This is the beta version of the Lore Masters deck. Um, Smells like a food ingredient or material, constant sunlight or no sunlight. Well, that's kind of on the nose for a mine. I do like this idea that it is providing power to a faction. And that could be, obviously political power or like, um, I don't know, economic power or something like that. Um, so let's find out what faction this is. Can be a phalanx, a cabal, corporation makes a lot of sense. Um, Collective. I mean, I think that, you know, corporation makes a lot of sense to me, and actually that can work well with this crest here. Let's actually pull this crest out and um, see if we can find out more about what this crest is depicting. Um, so I'm just going to shift this up a little. Notice it can be a little tricky to kind of keep all the cards together as they should be. But okay, so we have this crest. Um, so now because we're dealing with an object, we're going to draw more object cards. Here I've got a custom card, which uh, is prompting me to draw from a different deck. So these are cards that I've mixed in with the standard ones from the Lore Masters deck to prompt me to draw from another Story Engine deck product. In this case, this would be the actual Story Engine deck, which the company is named after. So I'm going to reach over here uh, and draw an anchor here. And uh, this crest can be a word, a riddle, a book, or a library. Huh. Interesting. This this almost sounds like this corporation that is um, gaining power from this mind is like a research organization. Hmm. I kind of like this. This is interesting. Let's um let's say that their crest is a picture of a book. Sorry, there's a little bit of a glare there. Still working on my lighting. Let's continue to draw cards for this. The crest has mind or charisma enhancing properties, flexible or unbreakable, wagered in a bet between two figures, swallowed or guarded by a massive creature. None of these are really jumping out at me. And it may simply be that, this is all what we really need to know right now. This is some kind of research organization whose crest is a book. And maybe also, if we learn more about the badger, we'll learn more about why they are interested in this mine that's full of dead badger remains. So let's actually try that. I'm gonna discard this card, and I'm going to um, shift here and learn a little bit more about this badger. Recall that this is an extinct creature. Um, oh, so one thing I forgot to do when you pull out a primary card like this crest, you are meant to also attach as one of the secondary cues a trait card, which are being renamed. I just got an email about this yesterday. I forget what they're being renamed to, but anyway, at the moment they're called trait cards. But so this crest is misguided, wailing, silky, hardy, sublime, religious, independent, or stunning. Okay. I'm very curious about this religious book. Um, hmm, very interesting. So, this is actually meant to be there, closest to the card that it's coming from. Uh, maybe I'll try pulling a different anchor card and see if I get a little more information about this book that is serving as the crest. Sorry, I said anchor card, I meant object card, and in this case, it is actually pointing me to another anchor. So I'm going to reach back into my story engine deck box over here. Uh, and hmm, instrument, a song, a masterpiece, or a school. Also, whenever you draw from a different deck, they recommend that you often draw two cards. Yeah, I'm uh, still not really getting this. I'm gonna set these aside and draw a secondary object card that's not an anchor. See if we can understand more about this book. This religious book that is the crest of the company that is doing all this mining. Contributing cause or event. So the book caused this corporation to come into existence. Sentient, navigational or wayfinding properties, commissioned by a figure and or a figure or faction. Um, kind of like this idea of um, this book is what made the company come into existence. Even though this says to draw or event cards, I don't think we need to in this case. This religious book, this company was founded to follow up on this religious book, to follow the precepts of it, and uh, that's driving them to do all this mining um, in a mine full of these badger remains. So let's learn some more about these uh, badgers. Okay. Hang on, I got this turned around. It's power to a faction goes on this side. Cards can be tricky to keep straight. Okay. So once again, when we pull out a new primary prompt like this, we're meant to add a new trait card to it. Is this badger noble, cascading, metallic, blossoming, cautious, historic, dented, or philanthropic? A metallic badger. Huh. Let's try this and see if we can come up with anything. That seems like it makes sense for a mining company. Some badger that has metal integrated into its skeletal structure or something, or claws maybe. Let's see what else we can find out about this badger. No longer found in its original habitat. We know it's extinct. Highly intelligent, totally solitary or highly social, unusually short or long lifespan. Um, I like this idea of a highly intelligent badger. I'm trying to figure out the connection of this badger to religion. If we can figure that out, I think we'll have a pretty cohesive um, idea of this place. Is it horrifying but friendly? The badger is worshipped by a figure or faction with a tail with a club or stinger, grass grazer or leaf muncher. I mean, this fits way too perfectly. Um, so this badger is worshipped. And so this Order of the Badger is now mining the remains of these dead badgers. Um, hmm, interesting. So, uh, this card here that suggests that they were worshipped by a figure or a faction. Notice it has a figure icon and a faction icon here to suggest the next card that we're going to pull. Um, I'm going to go just a little more on this, and I'm specifically going to decide that it is um, worshipped by a faction, a religion in this case, and I want to learn a little bit more about the faction. So the corporation is sort of the uh, economic arm, I guess, of this religious faction, and uh, I want to know a little more about the religion itself. So I'm going to draw a faction card here, an assembly, a chantry, a regiment, or a commonwealth. Um, and as is often the case, I need to look up a word here to remind me what exactly a chantry is. An endowment for a priest or priests to celebrate masses for the founder's soul, a chapel, altar, or other part of a church. Aw. Oh, so maybe, um, they're mining these badger claws, these badger remains to, um, build out this chapel. Okay, that makes sense that this order of badger worshippers is has a mining company set up to respectfully mine these badger remains and use them in their religious practices as they're building out this chapel. Okay, let's find out more about this. Built or settled a location. They want to prevent a tragedy from reoccurring. That could actually, the extinction of these badgers could be the event that they're trying to prevent. Excellent discipline within the ranks. Strong mental health supports. Yeah, I like this. That they're trying to um, maybe it's not so much that they worship the badger in particular. Oh, I like this actually. They are they're a druidic order, and they worship nature, and they're trying to understand how these badgers went extinct so that they can prevent that from happening with other species. Now I think we're getting a clear picture of this. So um, they're trying to respectfully and what's the word I want to use here? Respectfully and thoughtfully um, mine these remains and look for clues about how what caused these badgers to die out. So that's really cool, actually. Um, I like this a lot as the place of a druidic corporation. Not something you think about often, but I like it. Um, so that is what it looks like when I'm building out a location. And so I'm gonna, document this in my notes, and I'll build another one, yeah, today probably. Oh, the other thing I'll show you is I need to put this mine in a location. So let me go to my map here. Um, so it turns out that there are 182 hexes in Kubnon. And so I'm going to use this dice roller to figure out where this mine is. It's in the 169th hex, which is, I made a whole spreadsheet just to figure this out. The 169th hex is 19 by 30. So now if I go back to my map here, uh, 19 is over here. Okay, so it's in this area here. Yeah, in these hills, that kind of makes some sense. So I will add, oh, you can't quite see that on here. 1930 in this hex here. Um, we will be adding Badger Mine. Cool. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this, and please make sure to continue following along with other people who are doing Lore 24 things. It's been a lot of fun, and I will see you next video. Thanks. Bye.